Okay, well, let's get started. Today we are going to be using the Quiet Reflection stamp set, and we're going to be making one that's not maybe so fun to make, a sympathy card, but I love to have them on hand so that I'm not making them in a frenzy. So I love this set. It's got some really great sentiments and some beautiful images, and so we're going to make this card today. Okay, so we are going to be using, this is that Quiet Reflection set. We're going to be using this image here, the Sorry for Your Loss, and there's also You're on My Mind, would be a great thinking of you, and some really great sentiments. The friendship of a pet is one of life's greatest gifts. Be a great sympathy card if someone loses a pet. To remember is to give to those we've loved and lost, a great Bible verse, and praying for his comfort to soften the sadness and bring you peace. So that's what we're going to be using today as well. And then we're going to be using the Meandering Meadows 6x6 paper. It's so beautiful, all of these gorgeous scenes. And then on the back side, there are all of these great kind of more neutral images, right? So we're going to be using those today. I've already got our pieces, our parts and pieces cut. So remember, as always, if you want the measurements and the step-by-step instructions for today's card, then you can make sure that you're on my Buzz Bulletin email list in the description below. You can sign up for that, or it'll be on my blog on stampinqueenbee.com. So we've got our card base here. We cut this, scored it at 5.5, and we cut it at 4.25. And we're just gonna fold that in half and burnish it with our bone folder. We've got a piece of that Meandering Meadows. You can see the scene on the one side, and we've got the more neutral pattern on the back side. And so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tear our piece here. So I'm just going down, and you wanna make sure that you tear, if you want this white showing, which I do, then you wanna tear it with this, whatever pattern that you want facing up, because on the other side, you can see the white doesn't show, right? So if you don't want it to show, then you'll want that side facing up. But I'm just kind of lightly tearing it all the way down just to create that little bit of interest down the side of our card here. Then we're going to take a bit of liquid glue and we're just going to put that right on this left side, kind of with even border around the edge. So far, easy, right? It's a simple card today, but sometimes simple is wowie, right? So with this image, you can see it's one image here, and it's a reflective scene, right? So it's the trees, and then they're gonna reflect into some water. And so we're gonna ink this up. We're gonna flip it on its back side, and you can see kind of the difference. It's a bit darker on the top where the green trees are, and it's a little bit lighter on the rubber where the water is, the reflection. So we're gonna go ahead and take our pretty peacock, and we're gonna ink this up on the top where the tree line is. So we've got that. Then we're going to grab our Night of Navy, and we're gonna ink up the water reflection at the same time until they kind of meet in the middle there. Then we're gonna take a piece of basic white I've already cut for us, We're gonna center this on that and press down. And voila, we've got our reflective scene with our trees and our reflection into the water. So we're gonna go ahead and mount this onto some pretty peacock here. A little bit of glue. And we'll just center that right on. Beautiful, right? Okay, now we're gonna take a strip of basic white with our Night of Navy and our sentiment here. And I've got a couple tips for you on this. So these are great little sentiment strips for when you're cutting layers and you have all these leftover pieces. I like to use them for these. So we've got that inked up. Just go ahead and stamp that down. We're gonna bring in some of our snips, and we're actually gonna snip each side, but here I have a tip for you. So we've got one angle, but trying to match that is so hard, at least for me. So what I like to do is I take the piece that I cut off, stick it on the other side, kind of wherever I want it, line it up so that it's even, and then I just go right along that cut that I made, the off cut, and now they're the same angle. So then I don't have to think if they match up or not, right? Okay, so let's stamp the inside here with some Night of Navy with the Sorry for Your Loss. And then we'll go ahead and finish our card here. So we're gonna take some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our focal image here. Couple more, I guess. Okay, and then we'll just peel the backings off of those. We'll center this right on. There we go. We'll just center that on our card front. We're gonna take a little bit of liquid glue, and right where those centers meet is where I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of liquid glue and add my sentiment right over top of that. And then I'm gonna bring in some Wink of Stella, and we're gonna squeeze it out just a tiny bit into the lid here, and we're just gonna flick from the lid kind of all over the front of our card just to give it a little bit of subtle sparkle. There we go. And then for our embellishments, I'm going to bring in some of these dragonflies and birds. And we're just going to put one of these kind of up in the trees there. And there we have our Sympathy cards. Super simple, but I like to have these on hand because in the moment, they're really hard to make for me. So I was making up a few and thought, oh, I will do that for today's video. And since I used that Meandering Meadows paper, I made a couple other variations that I wanted to show you. So here's today's card. And then I also did, with one of the back sides, a tone on tone with some pecan pie. So there's that one. Got a little bit of garden green, all using the same paper. A lighter version with some balmy blue and some petal pink. And then a little bit more colorful version with some of those pretty flowers. And you can see how this image stamps so differently, right? It's the same image, but just changing the colors or even using just the same color on the whole image is beautiful. Well, I'll be back next week with another fun video, and I have a fun technique to share next week, so you won't want to miss that. I will see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching, for liking and subscribing and sharing these videos with your friends. Have a great week. Bye-bye.